Do you know why I'm so good at my job?
Because you kill without compunction or remorse.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 stars you forgot were on Criminal Minds.
They must have done something really bad to bring the FBI all the way out here.
You think you can define me?
I don't know what he's talking about.
You're a liar!
Kept my head down and I worked hard.
We all did. But you got my chance.
For this list, we'll try to wrap our minds around all of the now famous people who appeared as either unsubs, good guys, or other characters throughout the police procedural crime drama's impressive 15-season run. Which performance was your favorite? Leave us a comment below. Number 20, Ben Savage. As far as we can tell, Ben Savage has no familial relationship to Mandy Patinkin, and yet he has made a small career for himself in the 21st century playing Mr. Patinkin's younger self.
Well, you got me hooked. Let's take a trip to Roanoke.
I want to talk to these victims' families. Maybe there's a connection between them.
In 2020, he guest starred in one episode of the Showtime series Homeland as a younger Saul Berenson.
Fräulein, I'm not who you think I am.
Why don't you trust me?
However, previous to that, he had twice shown up on Criminal Minds, playing, that's right, a young Jason Gideon. And fun fact, his second appearance on Criminal Minds was on the show's penultimate episode, as was his turn on Homeland.
You know, I never liked your games.
I know. Remember? You and me? My yin to your yang? We were like Martin and Lewis.
Number 19, Amber Stevens West. Was she a stalker, a reporter, a private investigator? When we first meet Amber Stevens West in the season 10 episode Fate, she's secretly following Rossi around. And even when confronted, she provides no answers.
I can't say my client's very secretive.
Well, you can't be with the IRS. My accountant would have called.
Look,
Can't be with the State Department. A spy would know better than to leave her target's dossier on the front seat.
That is, until the next day when she reveals to him that he is her biological father. This obviously catches Rossi by surprise, but thankfully he catches up to her at the airport and is able to, at least somewhat, explain things to her.
I know what I said to you earlier, that if your mom was pregnant, she would have told me. But the truth is, she wouldn't have said anything. I was in no position to have a family, and she knew it.
Their relationship grows, and the Greek actress would make 3 more appearances on the show over the next 4 seasons.
yeah, I'd like that. Dad.
Number 18, Jane Atkinson. Since 1990, actress Jane Atkinson has been in many movies and TV shows, but there are only 3 series in which she's appeared in 24 or more episodes.
That's so hard to believe.
Yes.
I missed you too, Aaron.
In 2 of her best-known roles, she played Karen Hayes in 30 episodes of 24, and she was U.S. Secretary of State Catherine Durant in 38 episodes of House of Cards.
Witness after witness is going to rebut whatever you have to say.
My testimony is what it is. It'll all be resolved in the court of public opinion.
And although she appeared in 24 episodes of Criminal Minds as BAU Section Chief Aaron Strauss, that role is one you may have forgotten was on this talented woman's resume.
I'll tell the director if he takes you off the case, it's either with my resignation or over my dead body.
Number 17, Amber Heard. You might have heard that Amber had a role in an early Criminal Minds episode, and, well, you heard correctly.
You ever meet a real movie star?
Movie star, please. She's a supporting role in a television series about beach volleyball. Totally blue collar.
At the time, both she and the show were new to the scene, with Amber being only a few years into her acting career, and the series being in its first of what would end up being 15 seasons.
So all these people are being killed because of me.
The actress who would one day be Princess Mara of Atlantis in multiple films in the DCEU played Lila Archer in the crime drama, who was a sexy TV actress with a killer stalker and a crush on Reed.
You don't like me?
No, are you crazy? I do.
I like you.
I like you too. Just I'm a federal agent, you know? I'm supposed to protect you.
You can keep me close.
Number 16, Frankie Muniz. Muniz is best known for his starring role as the titular Malcolm in the 2000 sitcom Malcolm in the Middle.
If we don't let those stupid rankings get to us, they mean nothing.
Easy for you to say #1.
The success of that show raised Frankie's profile to the point where he was one of the biggest teen movie stars of the decade, with films like Big Fat Liar and the Agent Cody Banks movies. But while Muniz worked primarily in the comedy and child-friendly arena, his turn on Criminal Minds was anything but.
All you have to do is say your name.
Like yours?
What's wrong with mine?
Come on, I want something fun.
Frankie went way against type as vigilante serial killer Johnny McHale in the Season 3 episode, True Night.
You don't know what's out there! No one knows about the night!
Don't want to hurt you, Johnny.
It's okay, son. It's okay.
Number 15, Will Wheaton. In Stand By Me, Will Wheaton went on a hike with his 3 best friends to see a corpse of a local found close to train tracks. In the Criminal Minds Season 4 episode Paradise, Wheaton's character is the one causing a string of corpses as a motel owner / serial killer.
You need to let us go. Now.
If you thought he was evil in his first couple of appearances on The Big Bang Theory, that's nothing compared to the deep, dark, and disturbed force he was as Floyd Hansen on Criminal Minds.
I want to know why you are with a man who doesn't take care of you.
Using his motel as a criminal playground, this was one seriously disturbed character.
Don't worry. When I'm done with her, it'll take the fight right out of you.
Number 14, Gavin Rossdale. Rossdale is obviously best known as a rock star and member of the British band Bush, which he co-founded all the way back in 1992. You might also remember that he was married to Gwen Stefani from 2002 to 2016. Yeah, Stefani doesn't just like country music singers. But back to Rossdale, who, although best known for his musical talents, has done a fair bit of acting over the last few decades, with roles in movies like Constantine. And in 2009, he starred in an episode of Criminal Minds as a rocker named Paul Davies, with an onstage alter ego named Dante.
Are you a vampire, Mr. Davies?
You can't be serious. It's a character I play, a stage act.
You know, sometimes things get out of hand.
His music is connected to multiple bloody killings.
You know, all I really ever wanted to do was make music. And I'm not sure when that stopped being enough.
Number 13, Rachel Lee Cook. 2 decades after taking off her glasses, letting down her hair, and turning heads in She's All That, Cook turned Spencer Reed's head in the final season of Criminal Minds.
You strike me as being normal.
All right, so let me get this straight. I'm part of your homework to locate someone normal.
Well, it sounds weird when you say it like that.
Cook appeared in 2 episodes, and although she and Reed had an obvious attraction, they ran into some problems right as their romance was starting. That problem being an international serial killer with a vendetta against Reed, Cat Adams. But they weathered that psychopathic storm and ended her final appearance on the show with a kiss.
This was probably the worst 3rd date ever.
So is there anything I can do to salvage it?
There may be one thing.
Some fans worried that the relationship had fizzled when Reed showed up alone to the party in the final episode. But TV Line quoted a source saying that the relationship was, quote, intentionally left open to viewer interpretation.
I use psychology to find people.
Good. Find me.
Number 12, Gina Torres. Gina has been working in Hollywood since the early 90s, but is probably best known for her role as Jessica Pearson in Suits.
Recruiting. Harvey, your interviews are set up for tomorrow.
What? Why don't we just hire the Harvard summer associate douche?
I think if you listen to the phrasing of that question, you'll come up with an answer.
And currently, she is saving lives as an EMS replacement captain on 911 Lone Star. However, the talented Ms. Torres had yet to land either role back in 2008 when she made her guest star turn on Criminal Minds.
When this type of killer is triggered, they need to release their resentment quickly. Subsequently, they tend to strike close to the focus of that resentment.
So if the focus is his wife, then that focus is his home.
In the Season 4 episode Normal, Gina played Detective Thea Salinas, who works with the BAU team on a case involving a spree killer targeting female drivers on California freeways.
He's suffering from some kind of psychotic break.
Which means the world he sees around him has changed, and so is his role in it.
Number 11, Evan Peters. Fans of The Office will remember Evan as Michael's nephew, who, in an effort to teach him a lesson, he spanks in front of the entire office.
You are going to learn to be more professional, Luke!
But for the non-Office superfans, he's probably best known for his roles in the X-Men franchise and the American Horror Story anthology. And speaking of horrors, Peter's character in Criminal Minds lived a horror story of his own.
They're home.
Who is?
Do what they say, okay? It'll make it easier.
Charlie Hillridge was kidnapped as a kid and held captive for years by his abductors. After years in captivity, Charlie was forced by his captors to help them commit their crimes and kidnap more victims.
I knew Steven. He was like a brother to me.
Did he remember us?
You didn't doubt that, did you? Remembering you was the only way we survived.
Number 10, Robert Englund. Robert Englund made his film debut all the way back in 1974 and has continued to work in film and television for over 40 years now.
Has the paint analysis come back yet?
This particular sample was written no more than a week ago.
But it was and still is the A Nightmare on Elm Street movies that are what he is most associated with. However, as a change of pace, instead of killing people in their dreams, Englund played a detective on Criminal Minds.
Welcome to St. Baldwin's. Creepy, isn't it? They shut it down in '98 after a fire burned down the East Wing.
As Detective Gassner, he comes in to help the BAU team solve a number of ritualistic murders. While many people might not remember Englund's appearance on the show, there's a good chance some didn't even recognize him, given that as Freddy Krueger, he is heavily made up.
You would be correct.
Number 9, Cameron Monaghan. In addition to his shameless role, Cameron Monaghan played twin brothers Jerome and Jeremiah Valeska, characters who were the origin for the Joker on the Gotham TV series. Monaghan, however, is no stranger to playing disturbed characters, as he was only in his early teens when he guest starred in a Season 2 episode of Criminal Minds as a young serial killer Jeffrey Charles.
You're walking too slow. This book bag is heavy. My legs are tired. Why'd you do that? Shut up. Keep walking.
A difficult childhood led to Jeffrey's resentment of other children and a desire to take out that resentment using violence. While the BAU team initially assumes an adult is responsible for the crimes, Gideon eventually figures out that Jeffrey is the unsub.
I found a baseball cap. I found it this morning. It was in my son's drawer.
Where is it, Mr. Charles?
Thankfully, it's just in time to save Charles's last victim, who we will get to later.
Are you okay?
Number 8, James Vanderbeek. Of course, Vanderbeek will always be Dawson to us, but he is also a talented actor who has shown off some impressive range, and none more so than in his role on Criminal Minds.
Me?
You didn't?
Sorry.
Is there another Tobias Hankel here?
It's just me and my father.
Not only was the character of Tobias Hankel a complete 180 from Dawson, but the multiple personality killer was also 2 more people than Dawson was.
I tried to warn everyone.
Just relax, Mr. Hankel, all right?
Shoot him. I don't want to.
I said, shoot him, you weakling. He's a Satan.
Vanderbeek guest starred in the most watched episode of the show ever, which aired after the Super Bowl back in 2007. It was the first of a 2-episode arc that finished up 3 days later, but Hankel's character made such an impression on the BAU, especially Reed, that he's mentioned on the show multiple times in future seasons.
You think I'll get to see my mom again?
I'm sorry.
Number 7, Tim Curry.
This one's just special.
Tim Curry has the honor, if you can call it that, of having portrayed one of, if not the most prolific killer of the show's entire 15-season run.
I decide who dies, but mostly I decide who lives. I'm like God.
Bill Billy Flynn was a true psychopath who killed hundreds over the course of his 25-plus-year run before the BAU finally put an end to the Prince of Darkness.
Is that what you think you've been doing all these years? Helping people?
Well, no, I suppose not.
And yes, for all the keen-eyed and eared Tim Curry fans out there, his alias was very similar to his Lord of Darkness character from the 1985 film Legend. Number 6, Elle Fanning. Fanning's first appearance on the show came on the same episode as another member of our list. Fanning played Tracy Bell, a young girl who was almost the victim of Cameron Monaghan's young serial killer Jeffrey Charles.
I don't feel good. I told you to shut up!
After being saved by Gideon and the BAU team, Tracy and her family moved to another city. Later on, in the Season 2 finale when Frank Breitkopf is killing people who had, at one time, been saved by the BAU, Tracy again comes face to face with evil and is abducted by Breitkopf.
I'm scared. I want my mommy. Please. Please.
Thankfully, Gideon is able to save her again.
I just wanted to call and thank you. Thank you.
Number 5, Jason Alexander. Although both end up with a criminal record, Alexander's George Costanza and Henry Grace are two very different characters. And we aren't just talking about the hairdo.
I killed 12 people because of you. You took my family. I take yours.
While George is found guilty of criminal indifference and sentenced to 1 year in prison, Henry murders several people and is eventually executed.
I'm gonna be there when they strap you down for that lethal injection. And just before they hit the plunger, I'm gonna lean in real close and tell you to say hello to your scumbag brother.
Grace is the brother of a serial killer who was captured by Rossi, and who makes it his mission to get revenge for that. But in the end, Rossi is able to outsmart the long-haired killer and send him away for good.
I think you'll discover that a videotaped confession has the power to move a lot of jurors.
Number 4, Aubrey Plaza. We know Aubrey can do funny, as over 120 episodes of Parks and Recreation showed us. But we maybe didn't know that she could do creepy until her multi-episode turn on Criminal Minds as international hitwoman and serial killer Kat Adams.
You're a Black Widow hitwoman. You specialize in seduction, and you're patient. You learn everything you can about the men you're hired to kill, physically, psychologically, and emotionally, because you want them in as compromised a position as possible so they don't see it coming when you pull the trigger.
And when I do it really well, they pull the trigger themselves.
Adams shows up in 4 different episodes, with her eyes on revenge against the BAU's Spencer Reed. And this wasn't the first time that Plaza had worked with Reed actor Matthew Gray Gubler.
I think through every potential outcome and then I plan accordingly. You see, I didn't walk into your trap. You walked into mine.
In 2014, 2 years prior to playing adversaries on Criminal Minds, Gubler and Plaza were both in the zombie comedy Life After Beth. Number 3, Luke Perry. Perry appeared in 2 episodes as cult leader Benjamin Cyrus.
Savages, they call us, because our manners differ from theirs.
For those of you who only saw the Season 4 episode and remember that he died at the end, you might be wondering how he showed up in another episode later on.
I prayed this day would never come, but it has. God will see us through.
No, he isn't a zombie or a ghost. The show didn't become Paranormal Minds. Perry showed up again in the Season 14 premiere 300, so named because it was the 300th episode of the series. And to celebrate the milestone, the series treated fans to a history of the show and characters, and brought back a number of faces from the past, including Cyrus, via flashback.
We're believers, Dave. We believe that God says what he means and means what he says. His laws don't depend on what state you live in.
I remember him.
Number 2, Mark Hamill. Although he is most famous for being on the light side, the side of good, Mark Hamill has had some great moments exploring the dark side. Anyone who watched Batman the Animated Series will remember his standout turn as the voice of the Joker.
Please, allow me the honor of shaking hands with the man who did the impossible.
He also explored another dark character as copycat killer John Curtis on the 8th season of Criminal Minds.
We were the forgotten ones.
They forgot you. I did all right.
But they'll remember me now.
Curtis was an ex-FBI special agent who blamed BAU Section Chief Aaron Strauss for his downfall. Curtis does get his revenge on Strauss, but later, when cornered, blows himself up.
You never appreciated me, none of you. I gave you my life, and you rejected me.
You can tell me your sob story while walking.
However, as Hamill tweeted after the episode, where's the body? So maybe he didn't die. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Aaron Paul. There are probably those wondering how they forgot that the guy who played Jesse Pinkman was on an episode of Criminal Minds.
You're a Satanist, Mike?
Sure.
You worship the devil?
You even know what Satanism is?
Educate us.
Well, when Aaron Paul appeared on the show back in 2005, Jesse Pinkman was nothing more than possibly a glimmer in the eye of Breaking Bad creator Vince Gilligan.
So you do have a plan? Yeah, Mr. White! Yeah, science!
Still 3 years away from his breakthrough role, Paul played Michael Zizzo, a suspect in a series of cult-related killings. And while Jesse Pinkman would be guilty of a number of crimes, Mike Zizzo was exonerated and let go after being interrogated.
It's all hypocrisy. Do this, don't do that, and all the time the adults are the ones screwing up. So basically, we're just atheists, aggressively atheists.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.